better. Okay, let's try it again. Anna Marie from Just Stamp here. This is the little project we are making today. It is a 3D tote, the cutest little tote for sharing kindness. I'm going to be sharing with you the supplies, the step-by-step as we go along. Hopefully you have a few minutes to stick to the end. If you don't, you can always skip over to Just Stamp with Anna Marie over on YouTube and catch the replay. So let's see. I'm going to start off with the supplies I'm going to share, and then I'm also going to be doing the die cutting live to help you out here. So, who is obsessed with this Autumn Toile paper? This is a fall offering in the mini catalog, I believe, and it has just been a go-to for me during fall. I love it. Raise your hand or drop me a comment if you think it's pretty awesome too. So I'm using 2 cuts from the Autumn Toile. These measure 4 1/4 by 6 inches across. We are going to be doing a little prepping. I'm going to share with you what else I'm using. I have 4 pieces of Early Espresso cardstock. They measure 3 1/2 by 3 1/2 square. We're going to be creating the handles with that. I also have 2 side panels, and let's see, these measure 3 inches by 4 3/4. We're going to be doing some scoring and some trimming on that. And then we have a purse base, which is 6 inches by 3. We're going to do some scoring on that as well. Then I have some supplies for decorating. So let me move this aside. I am going to be doing some die cutting. So to cut, let's see, I'll do the handles first. I have 4 of these squares, and I'm going to take 2 of these stylish shapes circles. I have the largest, and then I skip 1 and come down 1 more. I'm going to put that on the platform, and yes, you are seeing me with 2. I'm going to double up, and I am using my standard size cut and emboss machine. I'm going to put that on the platform. And of course, if you want to ensure that the dies don't wiggle on the paper, you could use some washi tape or some Post-it tape. I'm going to throw caution to the wind. Probably not a good idea on camera, but I'm going to do it anyway. So yes, 2 layers of cardstock will go through. I'm going to tell you what I do. I go up, and I'm going to come back. And I'm even going to take it a step further to ensure that it cuts all the way through. Oh, looks like it has. No need for that. So here are my 2 layers, and you just kind of have to clip them apart. So I've got 2 handles. I need 2 more. And let's grab my other 2 circles. So here's the tip. Just before I came on, I did run my stylish shape dies through the Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine with wax paper, and it makes a huge difference on cutting as well as releasing the paper from the die. So when you have the stitch detailing especially, or some of those intricate dies, it's really helpful to be running the dies through occasionally with the wax paper straight from the kitchen. So, all right, so I've got 2 more handles, and just to confirm, there we go. And that's what I need. The little circles can be saved for another project, obviously. Before I put my cut and emboss machine away, I'm going to bring back in the front and back panels, and what I'm going to do is stack them, and I'm going to have to do this vertically. I am going to bring in that circle that was just between the 2 we just used, and I'm going to bring it through not quite halfway. I'm going to center it in, and I'm going to cut these at the same time so that I ensure my handle is on the right spot for both sides. So you can kind of see my alignment there. I'm going to go ahead and put my cutting pad number 3 and run this through. And the pattern paper cuts through very easily with the double stack. So now I've got 2 here, and I'm going to put those aside. Let me clean up a little bit. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. We've got 4 handles. We've got our front and back. Let me get rid of some of the rubbish. And next, I am going to bring in my paper trimmer. So here we go. We have to do some scoring. We talked about that card base and the 2 sides. So the base measures 6 inches by 3. I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch on both the long sides. So I'm going to bring it up to my paper trimmer on the 1/2 inch mark that's to the right of the track. And I'm going to remind myself that I'm scoring and not cutting, because once in a while I get caught up in the doing and don't think. I pull that cutting blade down. Okay, so I'm going to set this one aside. I scored it at 1/2 inch on both sides. Next, I'm going to take the 2 side panels, and I am going to score these as well at 1/2 inch on the long and one of the short sides. So again, at the 1/2 inch. So both sides, 1/2 inch. And then one short side, also at 1/2 inch. So one side is unscored. That's going to be the top of the side. And then I'm going to do this again. 1/2 inch. And 1/2 inch. And then 1/2 inch one more time. The base. So I've got 3 sides and the base. Okay, so then I am going to have to mark these side panels at midpoint, and I'm going to mark the side that has not been scored. So opposite the score line at the bottom, I'm going to bring this up at 1/2 inch. And the way I do that, I'm bringing it on the paper trimmer 1 1/2. It's going to come right here. And I'm going to mark the 1/2 inch mark right there. And then I'm also going to mark right where these intersecting lines meet, if that makes sense. So right there. And the reason I'm doing it at the bottom is because I'm going to need to see this on the paper track. So I'm going to put the track put the mark 1 1/2 there, and then I'm going to put that intersecting line also right in the track. And if it's hard to judge if it's in the center, we'll see it a little bit more clearly once we put the guide down, and you can see that little mark right in there, right in the middle of the track. So we're going to score, and then we're going to do it the other way as well, from 1/2 inch to the opposite corner. So mark on the track, and then this one's also going to come on the track. And you can confirm it's in the center when you see the dot right in the middle of the guide. And then, whoops, kind of shifted on me. There we go. So that's what it looks like. So I've got the score lines on the side and bottom, and then diagonals coming down. I'm going to take my next side and repeat. So scoring right in the middle and marking at the intersecting lines. And I'm going to bring it here and shift that right to the middle. Make sure I'm in the center, score it, and then repeat to the other corner. So right on the track, right there. There we go. And centered. Okay, we've got that. We've done all our scoring now. We're going to be doing some assembly. So let's see. I'm going to see. Wish I could bring you in just a little bit closer. I don't know that I can. Oh well. I'm going to bring in my 2 side panels, and what we're going to do is snip each of these corners. I'm going to debulk. So I'm going to go from this corner up here, and I'm just cutting off that little corner on both sides. It's going to make it less bulky when we adhere our sides to the front and back. So right there. All right, then we are going to bring in our bone folder, and we're going to burnish on the scores. So definitely on the 1/2 inch scores, and at the bottom. And I'm going to do it on all pieces. By the way, you know which way to score. I'm scoring on the valley score line, so meaning that's to the outside. The mountain fold I can see popping up on the inside. There are my 2 sides, and then I'm also going to bring in my purse base and burnish and burnish. All right, next I'm going to start applying my adhesive, and for this I do recommend the tear and tape. You want a nice aggressive adhesive. This works perfectly, and I'm going to put it on that 1/2 inch score line just above, in between the score line and the edge, and tear that. And again. Okay, so I'm going to put that piece aside. Now I'm going to add to the sides on the 3 connecting panels. So right here, and flip it and do the other side. And then also the base. And then we're going to repeat one more time. So 2 sides and a base. So it's kind of amazing how you can take the flat cardstock and make this nice little 3D tote with lots of dimension and lots of cuteness, and then put your little notes of kindness inside. There we go. Okay, so, and while I'm at it, I'm going to take these score lines and I'm just going to fold them back. You don't really have to burnish them. They're just going to be that little pleat to make your purse a little more 3D. All right, so we are going to set these pieces aside, and let's work with our handles. Okay, let's see. Making sure that I'm telling you everything we're doing. We're going to keep with simple handles, and I've got my front and my back. Of course, these 2 are going to be facing each other. On the inside, we have different patterns. That's what it's going to look like. We're working with the outside of the purse, sorry. So I'm going to add my handles here. I do need some adhesive, and I'm hoping my Tombow is going to cooperate with me today. Oh dear, I usually have, I do, okay. Right here, and I'm just gonna ensure it's clear. Let's start off right, make sure there's not any gunk in there. And I'm gonna add a little bit of adhesive right around that circle. So it's going to be just a semicircle there. I put my handle, and look how beautifully the Early Espresso accents this toile paper. It makes for a perfect fall combination, right? So do you have a favorite fall combination of colors? Now, when we flip it over, and I'm just going to shift that, this is the reason I like my liquid glue. I'm going to flip it, And you can see how it looks a little awkward on the inside, but no worries. No worries. We're not going to be seeing that anyway, because we are going to enforce our handles on the inside with one of the other stitched or stylish shaped circles. So you can see I just put a little bit of adhesive still with the Tombow because I want that really aggressive glue, right? There we go. And that makes the handles really sturdy and no unsightliness to the inside. There we go. How sweet is that? That's the purse front. We're going to repeat with the back of the purse. And I just used one of the coordinating patterns from that beautiful toile paper. I am repeating. Oh, so here's how I'm going to ensure my handles land exactly where they should. I flipped my front side over. I'm going to join these together, and my handle is going to go right in here. And it looks like I went out of bounds with my adhesive. No worries. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to let it dry just a little bit. So let me pull that off, that tiny bit there. Flip it over, and you can see, better this way, how awkward it looks. But again, no worries, because we are going to be covering this. And we're using our final stylish shaped circle for the support on the back side. There we go. So we've got our handles in position. So super stylish. So here's the back of the purse. Here's the front of the purse. Oh, let me do that. Here's the front of the purse, back of the purse. So I have my coordinating patterns. And actually, if you didn't want those toiles trees, you could use just the grid pattern for the front purse. Whichever side, you can't miss. They're both beautiful. All right, now let's see. We are going to put the front and back together. So I'm going to bring in, first of all, my card base. Remember, we had applied tear and tape, and we are going to add the back. So I'm just going to do the reveal for the sticky. And sometimes I like to just take my thumbnail and press to make sure it's on there. Lift up the protective covering. And I'm going to take my, so this is the outside of the base, the outside of the back. I'm going to abut it right there to the 1/2 inch score line. And it's kind of hard to see when the paper is dark, but you can see. Got it? Now I'm going to rotate that and do the same with the front of the purse. So just going to reveal this sticky, and I'm going to align this at the 1/2 inch score line. It's coming along. And so right now we've got front and back and base. We need to add the sides, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring in one side at a time, and this is going to be added. Let me make sure I'm stirring you right. So let's flip this over. On the inside, this is the inside of the side. I've got a score line at 1/2 inch. We're going to adhere that, align it right to the edge of the base, and then we're going to adhere it. So let's take off that protection. Now I'm going to flip over, and I'm going to adhere this, and you can see a continuation of all the score lines. So the 1/2 inch along the edge of the purse, and then you can see the continuation of the 1/2 inch score lines all the way there. I'm going to rotate that and repeat with the other side of the purse. So I need to reveal that sticky and align it right there. All right, in which case I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna take a drink real quick. And ask, what are you crafting this week? It's a great week for crafting, right? At the end of the month, we all turn into pumpkins and we switch up the holidays. So this is a perfect gift for the next holiday. So now you can kind of see how just bringing up the sides, it's pulling the purse together. So we're going to do one side at a time. So I'm going to reveal the sticky, and this is going to come in. So I'm just going to bend that in, bring the side of the purse up, and being careful, making sure it's aligned before there's any contact with that tear and tape, because the tear and tape is an aggressive adhesive. Once it sticks, it's kind of hard to pull it apart. All right, so now I've got that other side. Let me bring my take your pick. Y'all, if y'all don't have a take your pick tool, you need one. And I know that there are other makers, but Stampin' Up's is the best, especially with that little accessory kit that's available. So I've got one side together. You can see how pretty that looks. I'm going to do the second side the same way. So doing one at a time. I don't like to take off all the adhesive protection at once, because that just makes it difficult to manage. So again, folding it up, and it naturally folds, and I'm going to align that as best I can to the edge. And then, oops, there's a little tiny, there we go. Then I'm going to do the final stick. And of course it needs to come to the inside. Fold it in, bring in your DSP and align it right like so. And look how sweet that's looking already. Now we're not done yet. We're going to continue on with a little bit of decoration. I'm going to start with a pretty ribbon, and this is the linen basic beige 3/4 of an inch with ribbon. So soft and pliable. I'm going to tie a really pretty bow at the handle. And this color combo is just perfect for the season. I don't know, would you gift cards, or would you put a sweet treat inside? You could fill it with chocolates, any kind of sweet things, hand lotions, little hand sanitizers, anything would fit in this little tote bag. So I've got a little ribbon. I'm going to make a tag. And remember, I said I was continuing with the Label Me Grateful. This is the coordinating bundle that I created my pretty cards with, and I'll show you those in just a second. I am going to stamp. So let's see if I can find my ink in my stamp. This is the You're the Best stamp from the Label Me Grateful. I'm going to stamp on very vanilla, and I'm going to be punching very easy with this to the point punch. It's so simple, no die cutting needed. Just bring it in, and I'm doing a punch first. It's going to be easier for placement. See how easy that was? And it's such a sweet little label. I am going to stamp my greeting, and I'm going to, oops, I should have done it upside down. Ensure I didn't get that ghosting area. I'm going to shift it slightly low, and so one, I want to make sure it's kind of straight and low. You're the best. And isn't that pretty? I love it. Look how nice that early espresso looks on the very vanilla. I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to bring in my little handheld punch. This is a tag, so I need to just punch a little hole there. That's what I'm going to run the twine through. But I'm also going to decorate with one of the dies from the coordinating bundle. So I'm going to take my little pair of oak leaves, and I'm going to grab a little piece of Mossy Meadow cardstock. And for this, I can use the mini. That Label Me Grateful die set works on the mini. So I'm bringing down the platform sides. I think I've mentioned this before. I love platform 3 with the mini. No struggles that way. I'm going to put my mossy meadow, put my die down, and I'm going to add another cutting pad to the top and run that past. There we go. Right here. Here is my little pair of oak leaves. I'm just going to add these right here at the top of the little label. And so I'm going to put a couple of dots of glue. Let's see, this little leaf would work nicely. Whoa, that's a little bit more than a dot, right? Let me push that around. I'm the boss of the glue. So I pushed it around a little, bring it in right here. So I've got a little decoration going on there. You're the best. Let me put my cap on my glue. There we go. And then I'm going to bring in just a tiny bit of twine, and I'm going to use the Early Espresso twine. This is in the Early Espresso and Old Olive linen pack. And I just need a tiny bit of amount to hold that tag. I'm going to call it, I don't know, 8 inches maybe. And let's grab my ribbon scissors to cut easily. Loop that through right inside. And I'm going to hang this around the handle. So bringing it there, and I'm bringing it right behind the little bow. Bringing it up, and I'm just going to knot it. Oh my gosh. I hope that you will give me a heart or a like or a comment if you like this little project. I hope you try it. And I don't know about you, but I'm thinking of doing it in a Christmas version, maybe with some Christmas papers. How sweet is that 3D tote? So fun. So here's what it's toting for me. Again, you could put anything in it. This is the Label Me Grateful class that you receive free when you place a $50 order with me. There's a thank you card. So grateful for that heart of yours, and you are so appreciated. All of these cards and their envelopes will fit inside the tote, just like so. Isn't that fun? I love this little tote. I think it's a beauty. I've used it for other patterns, other occasions. It is just perfect for gifting. So there you go. There is my 3D tote. And I'm going to remind you, again, you can get the class for free, $50 order. If you want the bonus project, it's a $75 plus order in my online store by the end of the month. So that is coming up at the end of the month when we turn into pumpkins. Oh, one more thing. Do not forget to chat with Sally. She is posted already on my website. I'll post another link for her. Give her a try. Let me know what you think. You can snap, chat, and create, or you can just chat with her about creating. If you don't know what to do with your supplies, she will give you some suggestions. Also, at the end of the month is the end of the best join offer Stampin' Up! Has ever offered. $35 to join, and you pick $125 worth of product. And so what I would do, if I'm curious about that, make your wish list, get what you can for $125, then go straight over and place your order for the other items on your wish list, because you'll get your discount, 20%. And that offer, again, it ends on the 31st. So, Wendy says, this is one of my favorites that I make. I totally agree. It is so useful for a variety of things. All right, let's see. Who's planning to make a few of these? You're going to try it in Christmas, or you're going to do it in the fall patterns? I want to thank you so much for joining. I always say crafting gives twice. So when we create, and again, when we give it away. If you make this project, share it with me down below in the comments. I would love it if you gave me a heart or share this with a friend. And remember, all of the project details are posted over on AnnaMariePalmerin.com. Until then, until next time, happy stamping and keep spreading those handmade smiles. Bye for now, guys. Thanks for joining.